Part 1. Normal spending but always broke. You make 30 million VND a month. On paper, that's already above average. Your parents think you're doing well. Your friends think you're stable. Even you thought you'd be comfortable by now. But at the end of every month, nothing is left. Not 5 million, not 2 million. Sometimes not even 500, just a number close to zero staring back at you. And the worst part? You can't even explain where the money went. Let me tell you about Min. Min is 27 years old. He works in marketing at a mid-sized company in Hanoi. His salary is 30 million VND per month after tax. Not bad. Not amazing, but solid. Part 2. A very normal person. He doesn't gamble. He doesn't spend on luxury brands. He doesn't go on crazy trips every month. He's normal. Very normal. And yet, at the end of each month, Min has less than 1 million left. Sometimes zero. Sometimes negative. He once told me, "I don't feel like I'm wasting money, but somehow I'm always broke." That sentence matters, because it reveals something most people misunderstand. You don't go broke because of one big mistake. You go broke because of dozens of small, invisible ones. And they don't feel like mistakes. They feel like life. Part 3. Harmless daily expenses. Min wakes up at 7:30 a.m. He's too tired to cook, so he orders breakfast, 45,000 VND. Coffee on the way to work, 50,000 VND. That's 95,000 VND before 9 a.m. Sounds harmless. It is harmless until you multiply it. 95,000 VND takes 26 working days, 2.47 million VND per month. Just breakfast and coffee. Pause for a second. 2.5 million. Gone. And we haven't even started the day yet. Part 4. Workday spending. Lunch with coworkers. 60,000, 80,000 VND per meal. Let's say 70,000 average. 70,000 26 days, 1.82 million VND. Now we're at over 4 million. Just food during work hours. And still, nothing feels excessive. No luxury. No indulgence. Just normal. Part 5. Evenings and rent costs. Dinner? Some days he cooks. Many days he doesn't. Delivery 70,000, 120,000 VND. Let's average 90,000 to 20 days, 1.8 million VND. Running total now? Almost 6 million VND. Only food. No rent yet. No bills yet. No fun yet. Just survival. Min rents a studio apartment, 7 million VND per month. Electricity plus water, internet. 1.2 million. Phone bill 200,000. Now we're at around 14.4 million VND. Half his salary. Gone. Part 6. Weekend and lifestyle spending. And we still haven't talked about living. Weekend coffee with friends. 80,000, 120,000 each time. Let's say 100,000 Tower 8 times month. 800,000. Occasional dinner or drinks 300,000 Pele for 1.2 million. Streaming subscriptions, apps, random online purchases, another 500,000, 1 million. Now we're adding roughly 3 million more. Total spending? Around 17 to 18 million VND. Still seems fine, right? Part 7. Where the money disappears. Because 30 million minus 18 million, 12 million left. So where did it go? Here's where things get uncomfortable. Those numbers we listed, they're the clean version, the planned version. Real life is messier. There are grab rides when it rains. Late night snacks. Impulse Shopee order. Just this once, upgrades. Transport, 2 million VNDs month. Unexpected spending, 2-3 million. Now we're at 22-23 million. Suddenly, the leftover shrinks to 7-8 million. Part 8. Unavoidable expenses. Still sounds okay. But wait. Min sends money home. Not a lot. Just 2 million. He feels he should. Now we're at 5-6 million left. Then comes weddings, birthdays, colleagues' parties. Another 1-2 million per month on average. Now we're down to 3-4 million. Part 9. How money disappears. And this is where it disappears. Not in one big purchase, but in fragment. 200,000 here, 150,000 there. A sale you didn't plan, a reward for a hard week. By the end of the month, it's gone, completely gone. Part 10. The root problem. And Min isn't irresponsible. He's disciplined compared to many people. He tracks sometime. He tries to save occasionally. But there's one thing he doesn't realize, and this is the foundation of everything that follows. Your problem is not that you spend too much money. It's that your life is designed to spend everything you earn. That's a different problem, a deeper one. Part 11. The trap of modern life. Modern life is built for spending. Everything around you is optimized to take small amounts of money. Food apps make ordering effortless. Ride apps remove friction. E-commerce gives you dopamine in 2 clicks. You're not weak. You're surrounded. Part 12. Income grows, but nothing changes. And when your income increases, your environment upgrades with it. When Min made $12 million a month, he struggled. When he made $20 million, he felt better. At $30 million, he expected freedom. But something strange happened. His expenses grew with him. Not because he was careless, because his standard of normal changed. Part 13. The invisible shift. Better apartment. More convenience. Less tolerance for discomfort. And that shift is invisible. You don't notice it happening, but it's happening every month. Part 14. Spending increases gradually. Your coffee upgrades from $30K to $50K. Your meals go from $50K to $80K. Your once in a while becomes a few times a week. It doesn't feel like inflation. It feels like you deserve better. And maybe you do, but there's a cost. Part 15. The dangerous question. Min once asked a simple question. If I make $30 million and still can't save, how much do I need to finally feel okay? 40 million? 50 million? 10 million? That question sounds logical, but it hides a dangerous assumption. That more income automatically fixes the problem. It doesn't. Part 16. The real trap. Because the system stays the same. Income goes up. Spending quietly follows. And you end up in the same place, just at a higher level. This is the trap, and almost everyone falls into it. Part 17. The harsh truth. Not just people earning 30 million, even people earning 50, they feel the same pressure, the same confusion, the same question. Why is there nothing left? Part 18. The power of saving. Let's run a simple scenario. If Min saves 0 VND per month, after 1 year, after 5 years, obvious. But here's the scary part. If he saves just 2 million month, that's 24 million year. In 5 years, 120 million. Not life-changing, but meaningful. Part 19. The compounding difference. Now imagine 5 million month. That's 60 million year. In 5 years, 300 million. That's a real safety net, a real opportunity. But Min isn't saving 2 million. He's saving nothing. And that difference compounds quietly, relentlessly. Part 20. Time and system. Time doesn't wait. Every month you don't save is a month you can't get back. And money is strain. It rewards consistency more than intensity. You don't need to save huge amounts. You need to save regularly. But if your system leaves you with 0 every month, consistency becomes impossible. Part 21. The right question. So the real question isn't, why can I save? The real question is, why does my life leave me with nothing to save? That's where everything changes. That's where we start digging deeper. Because what looks like a spending problem is actually a structure problem. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. Part 22. Transition to the next part. And in the next part, we're going to break down exactly how this structure works. Not in theory, but in real numbers, real behavior, real psychology. Because once you understand the mechanism, you stop blaming yourself and you start fixing the system. Part 1. Tracking doesn't fix the problem. Min tried to fix it, like most people do. He opened Excel, listed every expense, added categories: food, rent, transport, entertainment. For a moment, it felt like control. Numbers looked organized, clean, logical, but something still didn't make sense. Because even when the math added up, his money didn't. Part 2. Numbers look right, but money still disappeared. Income 30 million. Expenses 29.5 million. Left over 500,000. On paper, that's fine. In real life, that 500,000 disappears within 3 days, and Min goes back to 0. Again, same cycle, same confusion, same quiet frustration. Part 3. The problem with tracking. Here's the problem. Tracking expenses doesn't change behavior. It just documents it. That's like stepping on a scale every morning without changing what you eat. You get information, but no transformation. And this is where most people get stuck. They think awareness is enough. It's not. Part 4. 2 forces of money. let's simplify everything. There are only two forces in your financial life: money coming in, money going out. That's it. But what most people don't see is how those two forces interact. Part 5. The invisible rule. Because spending doesn't happen randomly. It follows rules. Invisible rules. Rule number 1. Spending expands to match income. Always, you earn more, you spend more. Not intentionally, automatically. Part 6. Normal gets redefined. Because your definition of normal adjusts. And once something becomes normal, it no longer feels optional. It feels necessary. Part 7. Lifestyle upgrade. When Min earned 12 million, he shared a room. He cooked often. He took buses. At 30 million, he lives alone, orders food regularly, uses Grab without thinking. None of these are bad choices, but together, they change everything. Part 8. The real damage. Because the real damage isn't big expenses. It's recurring one, small, frequent, invisible. Part 9. Frequency thinking. Let's break it down differently. Not by category, but by frequency. Daily spending. Breakfast coffee, 100,000. Lunch, 70,000. Random snacks, 30,000. Total 200,000 per day. 200,000 30 days. 6 million. 6 million. Just daily habits. Pause. Let that sink in. Part 10. Thinking in moments. Min never thought of it this way? Because he wasn't thinking in months. He was thinking in moments. Just 50,000, just 80,000. But money doesn't disappear in moments. It disappears in pattern. Part 11. The danger of patterns. And patterns are dangerous because they feel harmless until they aren't. Part 12. Social pressure. Now add something else. Social pressure. Not direct, not obvious, but constant. You see friends eating out, traveling, buying things, and you don't want to feel left behind, so you match, not everything, just enough. But just enough every week becomes too much every month. Part 13. The psychology of spending. This is where psychology enters, because spending isn't just about needs. It's about emotion, stress, reward, belonging. After a long day, you deserve something nice. After a hard week, you treat yourself. And again, nothing feels excessive, but the math doesn't care about feeling. Part 14. The cost of convenience. Let's go deeper. Let's look at something almost no one calculates. Convenience cost. Cooking at home. Meal cost. 40,000 VND. Ordering delivery. Same meal. 80,000, 100,000. Difference. 50,000 per meal. If Min orders just one meal per day, that's 50,000 off. That's 18 million per year. For convenient. Not better food. Not better nutrition. Just less effort. Part 15. Not about discipline. And when you're tired, convenience wins. Almost every time. This isn't about discipline. It's about energy. If your system requires willpower every day, it will fail, eventually. Part 16. The truth about saving. Now here comes something deeper. Something most people never realize. And this is where things shift. You think your salary determines how much you save. It doesn't. Your leftover determines how much you save. And your leftover is not what's left after spending. It's what you decide before spending. Part 17. Flip the system. Pause. That sounds subtle, but it changes everything. Most people live like this. Earn, spend, save what's left. But what if there's nothing left? Then saving becomes optional, and optional things don't happen consistently. Part 18. Why Min saves nothing. That's why Min saves zero. Not because he can't, because his system makes saving the last priority. Part 19. Flip the structure. Now imagine flipping it. Earn, save first, spend the rest. Same income, different structure, completely different outcome. Part 20. Automate saving. If Min saves 5 million immediately when salary arrives, he now lives on 25 million. Not, will his life collapse? No, he will adjust, because humans always adjust. But here's the key difference. Now saving is guaranteed, not dependent on leftover, not dependent on discipline, built into the system. Part 21. The common mistake. This is the first real shift, and most people miss it, because they think, I'll save when I have extra. But extra never comes. It gets absorbed every time. Part 22. Inflations. Now let's go one layer deeper, because even this isn't the full picture. There's something working against you, quietly, constantly. Inflation. Prices rising over time. In Vietnam, let's say inflation averages around. Part 23. Inflation in action. That means something that cost $10,000 today will cost about $104,000 next year. Doesn't sound like much, but over 5 years, that's over $120,000. Same item, more money. Part 24. Squeezed from both sides. Your salary might increase, but often not fast enough. And your lifestyle. It upgrades faster than inflation, so you're being squeezed from both sides. Higher costs, higher expectations, same feeling. No money left. Part 25. Invisible inflation. And here's the dangerous part. Inflation is invisible day to day. You don't notice 2,000 VND increase. You don't notice 5,000 VND more, but your wallet does. Every month. Part 26. Everything combined. Now combine everything. Daily habits, convenience costs, social pressure, inflation, no saving system. And suddenly, your 30 million salary is fully consumed. Not wasted, consumed. There's a difference. Part 27. Why you feel stuck. And that's why you feel stuck. Because you're not doing anything obviously wrong. But the structure guarantees the result. 0. Or close to it. Every month. Part 28. The better question. But here's where things get interesting. Because once you understand this, you stop asking, how do I spend less? And start asking, how do I design my money differently? That question is more powerful because it shifts focus from control to structure. Part 29. What comes next? And in the next part, we're going to make this practical. Real actions, real numbers, not extreme, not unrealistic, just small changes that completely change the outcome. Because the goal isn't to suffer. It's to finally have something left, something real, something that grows. Part 1. A different approach. Mint didn't need more motivation. He needed a different approach because trying harder hadn't worked. Tracking everything hadn't worked. Cutting random expenses hadn't worked. So this time he did something simpler. He changed the order, not the effort. Part 2. One simple rule. He wrote down one rule. Money has to be decided. That was it. No complicated formula, no perfect budgeting system, just one shift, and then he built everything around it. Part 3. Salary day. Salary day came, 30 million VND. Normally, this is where the cycle begins, but this time, he paused, just for 5 minutes, and made one decision. Part 4. Save first. He moved 5 million VND immediately into a separate account. Not an investment account, not something complicated, just a savings account at Vietcom Bank. Simple, accessible, but separate. That detail matters. Part 5. Why separation matters. Because if money sits in the same account, it doesn't feel saved, it feels available. And available money gets used. Part 6. The discomfort. He felt uncomfortable, like he had less than he actually did. Because now his usable money was 25 million, not 30, and that discomfort, it's normal. It means the system is working. Part 7. 3 buckets. Then he did something else. He simplified everything into 3 buckets, not 10 categories, not complicated spreadsheets, just 3. Needs, lifestyle, future. Part 8. Define the buckets. Needs, rent, utilities, basic food, transport, things you must pay to function. Lifestyle, eating out, coffee, entertainment, shopping, things that make life enjoyable. Future, savings, investments, anything that builds long-term security. Part 9. Simple allocation. Min already locked in future first, 5 million. Now he had 25 million left, so he split the rest. Needs 15 million. Lifestyle, 10 million. Done. Not perfect, but clear. Part 10. Needs breakdown. Let's break that down. Rent, 7 million. Utilities, 1.2 million. Transport, 2 million. Basic groceries, around 4-5 million. That's roughly 14-15 million. Needs covered. No stress. No guessing. Part 11. Lifestyle boundaries. Now comes the interesting part. Lifestyle. 10 million VND. This is where most people lose control, because lifestyle spending feels flexible, but without a limit, it expands. So Min gave it a boundary, a real one. Part 12. Separate wallet. He created a separate wallet. 10 million. That's all. Coffee? comes from here. Eating out, from here. Shopee, from here. Once it's gone, it's gone. No borrowing from savings. No, just this once. Part 13. Thinking changes behavior. At first it felt restrictive, like he had to think before every purchase. And that's exactly the point, because before, he never had to think. And thinking changes behavior. Not dramatically, but consistently. Part 14. Small adjustments. Instead of 90,000 VND coffee, he sometimes chose 50,000. Not always, just sometimes. And that difference? 40,000 TETs, 15 times 600,000 VND save, without feeling deprived. Part 15. Cooking more. Instead of ordering dinner every day, he cooked 2-3 times a week. Not extreme, just enough. Savings? Around 1 million per month. Part 16. Smarter choices. Short distances. Sometimes he walked or used a cheaper option. Another few 100,000 saved. Part 17. Small changes add up. None of these changes are dramatic. Individually, they look small, but together, they shift the entire system. Because now, spending has a boundary. Part 18. First month result. At the end of the first month, something surprising happened. Min still had money left. About 1.5 million in his lifestyle wallet. That had never happened before. Ever. Part 19. System versus discipline. Not because he became extremely disciplined, but because the system did the work. That's the difference. Discipline fades. Systems stay. Part 20. Saving becomes automatic, and his savings? Already 5 million. No effort after day one. Just one decision. Part 21. The numbers. Let's run the numbers. 5 million per month. In 1 year, 60 million. In 3 years, 18 million. In 5 years, 300 million. And that's without investing. Just saving. Part 22. Add growth. Now imagine adding something simple. Let's say it grows 6% per year. Not risky, just steady. After 5 years, around 350-370 million. Extra 50-70 million. From doing nothing extra. That's the power of consistency. Part 23. More than money. But the biggest change wasn't the money. It was how he felt. Less stressed, more aware, more in control. Part 24. Directed money. Because now, money wasn't disappearing. It was being directed. Directed money behaves differently. Part 25. Real life test. Now let's talk about real life. Because plans always get tested. A wedding invitation came. 1 million VND. Before, this would disrupt everything. Now, it came from the lifestyle fund. No stress. No guilt. No damage to savings. Part 26. Protecting savings. Savings stayed intact. That's critical. Because most people save, then break it, over and over, which means they're not really saving. They're storing temporarily. Part 27. Old pattern. Min used to do that. Save 10 million, then spend 8, repeat. Net result? Almost zero. Part 28. New rules. Now, savings is untouchable, because it was never part of spending. From the beginning, he created a few simple rules. Save first, always. Separate accounts. Lifestyle has a limit. No touching savings unless emergency. Part 29. Clarity creates control. And here's something important. This isn't about restriction. It's about clarity. Because when everything is mixed together, you feel confused. When everything has a place, you feel in control. Part 30. Real freedom. And something unexpected happened. He enjoyed spending more. Because now, he knew he could afford it. That's freedom. Not spending without limits, but spending without anxiety. That's different. Part 31. Closing in CTA. He still went out. Still had coffee. Still enjoyed life. But within a structure. And structure creates freedom, not the opposite. Now here's what you can do. Not tomorrow. Today. Decide your future money. Move it immediately. Split the rest. Create separation. Respect the limit. You don't need to change everything. Just change the flow. Because flow determines outcome. Always. And in the final part, we'll go deeper. Why some people always have more and others stay stuck, even when they try. Part 1. It worked. But then, Min thought he had figured it out. Save first. Spend what's left. Keep things simple. And for the first time in years, it worked. Money stayed, savings grew, stress dropped. But then something else happened, something quieter, something deeper. Part 2, a new feeling. After 6 months, Min had around 30 million saved. Not huge, but real. For the first time, his money wasn't disappearing, it was staying. And that changed how he thought, not just about spending, but about money itself. Part 3, the truth. Because here's the truth most people never hear. Saving money is not the goal, it's just the beginning. That's where everything shifts again. Part 4, the comparison. Min has a friend. His name is Hu. Same age, same city, similar job. Hu also makes around 30 million VND per month, but his situation? Almost identical to Min's old life. No savings, constant pressure, endless cycle. Part 5, the question. One day, Hui asked him, "How did you fix it? Did you get a raise?" Min said no. Same income, different system. But then Hu asked something more interesting. So now that you're saving, what's the point? Part 6, why matters? And that question, most people can't answer. Because if you don't know why you're saving, you'll eventually stop. Or worse, you'll spend it all later. Part 7, direction. Money without direction always finds a way out. Always. That's human nature. Part 8, defining purpose. So Min did something most people skip. He defined purpose. Not vague, not abstract, specific. Part 9, emergency fund. Emergency fund, 6 months of expenses. If he spends 20 million per month, he needs 12 and 20 million. Clear, not random. Part 10, why it matters. Because life happens. Medical bills, job loss, family emergency. Without savings, these become crises. With savings, they become manageable. That's a different life. Part 11, freedom fund. Second goal, freedom fund. Not retirement, not someday. Something closer, something real. Part 12, what money buys. Maybe 300 million. Enough to take a break, switch jobs, start something new. Time, that's what money buys. Time to choose. That's powerful. Part 13, the math. Let's do the math. Saving 5 million per month to reach 120 million, 24 months, 2 years. Emergency fund done. Part 14, long-term path. Next, 300 million. Another 3-4 years. Total, around 5-6 years. Not fast, but real. Part 15, the comparison again. Now compare that to saving 0. After 5 years, still 0. Same effort, same job, completely different result. Part 16, 2 futures. Min, savings 300 million. Options, many. Stress lower. Hoi koi, savings near 0. Options limited. Stress constant. Same income, different future. Part 17, structure. That's not luck, that's structure. Part 18, the second shift. Now here comes the second shift, the one that changes everything. Most people think, I need more money to feel secure. But security doesn't come from income, it comes from distance. Part 19, what is distance? Distance between your needs and your dependence on income. Let me explain. Part 20, zero distance. If you spend 20 million per month and have 0 saving, your distance is 0. One missed paycheck, problem. Part 21, 6 months buffer. If you have 120 million saved, that's 6 months of distance. You can survive. Think clearly. Make better decision. Part 22, income versus distance. That's why some people earning 20 million feel calm, while others earning 50 million feel stressed. It's not income, it's distance. Part 23, freedom. Distance is freedom. Part 24, the trap. And here's the part most people miss. Increasing income doesn't automatically increase distance, because spending rises with it, so distance stays the same. That's the trap. Part 25, avoiding the trap. Min almost fell into it. After a year, he got a raise. From 30 million to 35 million. Old Min would upgrade his life. Better apartment, more convenience. Part 26, a different choice. New Min, he increased saving from 5 million to 8 million. Lifestyle stayed similar. Distance increased, fast. Part 27, leverage. Now his emergency fund goal, reached sooner. Freedom fund, closer than expected. Same life, different trajectory. That's leverage. Part 28, the next layer, and then one more layer. Because saving alone is not enough long-term. Money sitting still loses value, slowly, quietly. Part 29, inflation. Because of inflation. If inflation is 4% and your savings earn 3%, you are losing 1% per year. You don't feel it, but it's happening. Part 30, make money work. So what do? You don't need to be an expert. You don't need risky investments. You just need one idea. Make your money work a little. Part 31, simple growth. Even something simple work. 6 to 7% per year. On 300 million, that's 18 to 21 million per year. Without working more, without more stress. Money working for you. Part 32, the next level. That's the next level. Now step back. Look at the full picture. Part 33, what changed? Min didn't change his life dramatically. He didn't earn double. He didn't sacrifice everything. He just changed order, structure, purpose, and everything followed. Part 34, your situation. So what about you? If you're earning 30 million and saving 0, it's not because you're bad with money. It's because your system is designed that way. Part 35, change is possible, but systems can change. And small changes create big outcome, not instantly, not magically, but inevitably. Part 36, the core truth. Money is not about how much you make. It's about what you keep, and more importantly, what you build with what you keep. Part 37, final meaning. Because in the end, money is not just numbers, it's choices. And the more you keep, the more choices you have. Part 38, the real goal. That's the real goal, not richness, not status, freedom. Part 39, final line. And freedom starts with one decision.